It's been said that resilience means to bounce back in times of adversity. But think about it for a moment. What's adversity for one person might not be for another. So each of us are very unique in our own resilience factor. Let's take a look at that. What does it mean to really be resilient? Resilience is to bounce back, as I just mentioned. Does a person really need to be resilient? As humans, our minds are constantly reflecting back, thinking of the past, or projecting into the future. And what that does over the long period of time is it creates an imbalance. And that's where we have our depression looking back, or looking into the future, we have our anxiety. So learning to train that aspect of the mind, the energy field of the mind, is what our resilience training is all about, will actually allow you to be present, be willing and able to move into that vital energy field where you'll be resilient all the time. And what used to be considered adversity or stressful will no longer be stressful. You see, stress is a perceived threat. So if we don't have perceived threats anymore, why do we need to be resilient in the first place? Because we're not looking at anything with adversity anymore. And that's the whole idea about the training. Get so strong, get so contained within your own being that the resilience factor isn't even really a question, because you're not looking at things as perceived threats anymore. You're perceiving things as to be just the way they need to be in harmony. And one way that you can bring that strength and stamina and harmony into your own life is to be able to shift your focus. Shifting your focus in the direction of resilience means to train yourself and train your mind field, the energy of your mind, in which what we do. And when you train that mind field, you no longer feel threatened and you're able to be more resilient. How do you know if you're resilient? Well, we're all resilient on some level. Some of us have more than others, and some of us have less than others, and that's all okay. What I did was I put together a scale with psychological factors, positive psychological factors, and I put together that into a self-assessment tool that I'm giving to you for free. You just have to go to our website and get that, and there'll be a link in the description for that. But what I've done is I've put together some positive statements that are about you. And what are your positive statements? And we put it on a scale. There's the low, middle, and high part of the scale. And it'll tell you, based on how you answer those statements about yourself in a positive way, you'll see if you have low resilience, medium resilience, or high resilience. Keep in mind that all scales are just scales for in a subjective way, because there's nothing out there that's so clinically valid. In fact, they're all varied. But I wanted to take all the positive points that we can in a scale and provide them for you. And if you need to build resilience, it'll tell you. If you need to optimize your resilience, it'll tell you that too. And if you need to sustain resilience, depending on where you are. The key is, and the essence of all the work, and when I teach, I want you to look at your strengths, not your weaknesses. You could acknowledge your weakness, but don't spend too much time on them. By focusing on your strength and acknowledging those strengths, what happens is the weaknesses just fade away. And that's what being resilient is all about. Being able to focus on your strengths, moving forward with that confidence and trust that everything will be okay. After all, when we strengthen our positive attributes, the weak ones just fall away. And that's the way the training should be provided for you. Looking at what your strengths are and just start honing in, building them or building more strengths if you need to have more, optimizing them, and then sustaining them for the long haul. I invite you to use the Resilience Self-Assessment Tool to discover your inner strengths so that you can build, optimize, and sustain your resilience. No matter what range you came in on this self-assessment tool, the resilience training that I'm providing in a webinar series as well as an online course will give you the knowledge and the practices to build, sustain, and optimize resilience for yourself. I teach it from a top-down model with 3 neurological hubs of resilience: the hara, which is our gut, the head, which we talk about the brain, and our heart. By working with these 3 neurological hubs, you're going to build a foundation, a very solid foundation for resilience. please join me for the new resilience training series and the online course, where you'll discover and connect to your own vitality that will help you build the resilience that you need. Links are provided in the description to access the resilience training as well as to the free resilience self-assessment tool. And until next time, remain calm, consciously aware, living in the moment.